Hello, everybody. This is Kai Unity Kai, ManicProfessor, and Nicrowassassin. We we are here to bring you another episode of the Fringe Lair podcast. And this evening we will be speaking about ontology, which is essentially questioning what is being, what is anything, and we'll integrate a little bit of mythology in there as well. So, alrighty. Either one of you want to? So it's always a little bit awkward, I feel like, but that is correct. So Fringe Lair, for those who don't know, essentially means topics that are of the not of the ordinary. So mythology, legends, pseudosciences, those type of topics and subjects that are out of the ordinary, that are unorthodox. Magic, yes. Well, yeah. Um, there is actually real world science to those, where it deals with the way that the light wavelengths travels through. It's kind of interesting, but you are right. That is definitely a pseudoscience type of uh, area. So, but anyway, what is your guys' interpretation of what anything is? Is it from your senses? Your world is created from your sensory perception, or how do you see the world? How do you view it? But what is reality, though? Well, how do we know that? How do we know that our senses are correct? How do we know? How do we know that we exist? How do we not know that the world itself is just inside of our head, and everybody that we interact with, the whole world as is nothing but inside of our head? How do we know that? We can look at instrumentation. Yes, and that is true. You know the story of the submarine. That was in the news a few months ago, where it was arguing about their pain and whatnot that they would have experienced. They went down to visit the Titanic. Yes, I think it was actually a Logitech controller. Yeah, yeah. I don't even know if I would. Hmm, nice. I imagine it'd be quite the experience, but also scary. I'd say. Was it a little bit scary to you? Do you think? Nerve wracking. Right. What about airplanes? Ah, okay. I gotcha. Sounds fun. It also sounds a little bit scary, though, to be honest. I don't like airplanes. I don't know about you guys, but heights terrify me. Hmm. Yeah, I guess they also have the oxygen masks. Oh, yeah. Those are pretty good movies. Wow, that's interesting. Hmm. Would you like to go on a hot air balloon? No? I would imagine you would never want to go skydiving then. I always, yeah. Well, that's fair, I suppose. I mean, although vehicles are the number one, I'm sure you know, the number one way that you can, most often, for accidents anyway, planes and all those are a lot safer. Yes, I'd say that's true. Well, there are quite a few planes. There are many, many different planes, and they only have so many different routes. But yes, that is true. So why don't we switch topics here and speak a little bit on mythology, because that is what we didn't get to last time. And Nicro, I know that you had a little bit you wanted to speak on about it. Manic, I think you had mentioned something too, that you had a couple of things. And yes, right. For me, Greece, Hercules, what's his name? Zeus. Yes, I know what you're. I've seen that word before. Mm, okay. Um, yes, I think. I mean, myth can be also, I think, integrate legends. You know, I think that that is sometimes interchangeably used. You know, if we think of something that is a story, something that has been heralded through times, or even in the modern era. I mean, look at the what are they? The cryptids, I think, and they're referred to as. Uh, yes, right. And there's like a lot of eyewitness accounts of the Mothman and others, like thousands of people. Yes, yes, that's mm. What about crop circles? There was a lot of people that were found out to have made those man-made with like they used like a plank that they would like push the wheat the what are they? What is the different crops? There's like a certain grass or weed. Yes. Do you believe in aliens, both of you? Do you believe that, or maybe not like the stereotypical alien, but do you believe that there's life other than our planet? Okay, that's fair. Mm, okay. So, what about the steps that we're taking to visit Mars? And also, the Russians and America, Russians and China are working in a partnership, but also America. We're trying to get, and some people already say that we have infrastructure on the moon from way back when, but we're officially, publicly, it's been announced that they're trying to establish bases on the moon. That's real world information. So, interesting, very interesting. Okay. A launch base. Yes. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Honestly, we are in World War III. Uh, yeah, we are currently in World War III, but it's not publicly known because if it were, society would collapse. Could you imagine the chaos? But we're in it. We are definitely in it. And there's many different signs of this. Oh, they are indeed. They are very much. But why do you think that they're not? Well, we are. We are. No, we're fighting. We're fighting Russia through Ukraine. There's a Colonel McGregor, Douglas McGregor, who has been in the military for decades, will go on to attest as much. We're using Ukraine as a proxy to fight Russia, and through the military-industrial complex, all those fundings that are going to Ukraine is being laundered through the military-industrial complex, buying up weapons and assets, and it's coming back into the United States to the donors. So, what's that? Well, we are no longer. Yes, it is. And the thing is the United States is very, very weak right now in many, many different ways. And they are gonna take Ukraine. They've shown as much. No, and you're not alone in that. There's many, many others that I mean, Biden's approval rating is so low, and you see, I mean, I have mercy on him. He is older. He has cognitive troubles. You can't fault him for that. I mean, there's chances we'll be in the same shape or form, depending on our genetics and all of this, but the country is in a bad shape. That much is well known. But uh, essentially, it's down to nuclear warfare at this point in time. And I don't think that Russia's going to be the one to strike first. I think it's going to be the United States. And if it does, Russia's going to retaliate, and the nuclear fallout that is put up into the atmosphere, it will put us into a nuclear ice. What is it? A nuclear fallout. Uh, right. Well, the reason that we're not doing this is because if we do, humanity is pretty well doomed. I mean, other than the elites that have bunkers and whatnot, but the general public, there would be billions of lives lost. So, yeah, right. I don't either. Right. As much as they dislike each other, you know what I mean? It would be too much. So yes, I agree on that as well. Um, yeah, that's another country that I'm very interested in. I don't know about you guys, but I find North Korea so fascinating with the propaganda for one, but just what it would be like. Right. Well, there is the story of the leaders of being literal gods. The people of North Korea. Well, I think it's rooted in that. Yes, I think it's nonsense as well, but it's rooted in that in terms of the leaders being literal gods. And that's how they carry on their regime and have, and it's been passed down through the generations. But Kim Jong Un doesn't really consider himself as a god. Yes, and neither have I, of course. Just off of what I've seen in the yes. What was that movie called? I know the one you're talking about. Mm. Let me cut in real here. How's my voice, guys? I see that the meter for the voice on Discord, it kind of do I? Okay, it could be. I'm gonna check that out real quick. You guys go ahead and keep on talking. I'm gonna look at this. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Sorry to cut you off. Is that better? Okay. I was not using my dedicated mic. I was using the headphones. But there still is I can see the voice meter on Discord it like decreases from green to yellow. So I think it's just a connection through the chat server through Discord, but otherwise on my side it looks like my network is fine. So but yes. Okay. All right, cool. So the microphone, the my good microphone, I was using that on OBS, but on Discord, like I said, it was using the headphones. For some reason, it sometimes it resets. You know, you have to set it back. But I kind of heard what you were. Okay, cool. At least it wasn't on there too long. I thank you guys for letting me know. But I'm gonna grab a drink, and you could at least hear me. It was just muddied. Yeah, that it was using my the iPhone headphones, I think, for some reason, but sometimes it'll switch. I don't know if you guys ever had that happen. It'll switch to default if you like do an update, you know? Yes, so that's what it was. But it's all good now. So, Nicro, continue what you were introducing. I'm gonna grab a beer. I'll be right back in just a second. It's so interesting that you're speaking about this because in my exposure to the Lord and the faith thereof, and specifically hell, Tartarus, Gehenna, uh, what is it, Hades, all these different they refer to different terms in different areas. It's interesting. It's coincidental that you bring this up, but go ahead. Well, this is Greek mythology, though, right? Or Roman mythology. That's very interesting. Hmm. Yes. And so, in terms of Satan and being cast into the pit, wasn't he to be in the pit for 1,000 years? But 1,000 years, ethereal time is different than human time, correct? I th- yes. Do you believe you're a religious person? So I guess asking you is you would, but Manic, do you believe in hell? No? Right. What if hell was real? What if it was a real physical place? Right. Well, I truly believe in those. I truly believe in that as well. I have a different outlook on the matter. I do believe that our body is not us, but it's merely it's the body that we're in, that we were born into, born from flesh, but it's not actually us. It's like a suit of clothes. But according to different religious sects, sects, hell is a real place. It's just as real as what we experience. And it's not necessarily if you do something really, really bad. I mean, that is the case, but all sins are equal. Stealing is equal to murder. But the reason you go to hell is because if you do not accept Jesus Christ as your savior, it's not that God dislikes you or doesn't or hates you. It's just that if you're not accepted to perfection to go to heaven, you can't go to heaven because your energy, you're not perfected. Does that make sense? And God doesn't want you to go to hell, but if you go to hell, you're there because you haven't accepted Christ. Is the way that, well, I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. I don't mean perfect as in Jesus Christ, but what I mean by that is your perfection given unto you by being accepted by Christ and having Christ within your heart. That makes you perfected insofar as being allowed into heaven. If your energy has even the minutest little bit of sin, you can't be to heaven. You cannot be in heaven. In heaven, there's absolutely no sin at all. It does not exist there. There's no death. It's it's an ethereal world that is so much different than what we experience here. If we compare it to Earth, Earth is hell. And from the way that I look at it from my different religious viewpoints, Earth is literally hell. This is where we hurt each other. You know what I mean? Uh, we have. That is true. We have. Hmm. They go to hell. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Interesting. Because you know that the God of Abraham was a very angry God. And the New Testament God, yes, and the New Testament God is a very much different type of God. So that's why, and also they say in the beginning, or let us make man in our image. Who is us? Who is us? Who is that referring to? Is it referring to the Holy Trinity? God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit? Who is us? You know, that's where you can integrate in the. Go ahead, Manic. But Yeah. Isn't there a movie? Everything all at once. What is that? It's like a martial arts movie or something. That is a very good way to look at it. That kind of correlates here with a lot of different things. Consciousness. Let's jump into that real quick. What do you view consciousness as? Well, perceptions or sensory perceptions. That is true. Well, yes, because when animals hunt, they're not doing it out of anger, they're doing it for food, right? Humans do it because of hate sometimes. Sometimes they do it because of gain. Yes. We're very, we are, humans are very infallible. Chaos is a good word, very infallible, I'd say as well. I would say that chaos is inevitable because order springs from chaos. Without chaos, there couldn't be order, and vice versa. You can't have black without white. You can't know black without white because there's nothing to contrast it to. Um, yeah, I like the way that you put that. There's another movie other than Hellraiser. I forget what it's called, but all I know is a scene from a movie I'd watched like, years ago, back when I was an adolescent. But The Wishmaster, I think that's what it's called, is The Wishmaster. Yeah, yeah, yeah. hmm But there's this scene where there's a guy in prison, and he's like, "Man, I wish I could walk out of here." And he didn't know that he said that to the Wishmaster. And so what happens is his body goes through the prison bars, like forcefully, so that it's like he's in clumps. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's so disgusting, so gruesome. So that's the same. Ah, okay. Didn't know that. Ah, cool. Ah, gotcha. I didn't know that that was the same director, or is it producer, or? Okay. Nice. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, isn't there? Yeah. Ah. Those Cenobites, the one with the CDs or whatever, stuck into his head or her head. I don't know. Right. Right. Very good series. There's another old one as well. I can't remember. I know that it like involves orbs. That like this guy can like manipulate like metal orbs or something. I can't remember the name of it. I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I think the last one I watched was I think Child's Play. Yeah. No, I don't think it's Puppet Master. I think it's I can't remember the name of it. But they're like in a mortuary or something. I think it was maybe the first movie, and like he can manipulate these orbs, and they can like I don't know. I'll have to share the name of it in Discord later. Um, yeah, that'd be a good one to do next week. I think that'd be a fun one. Put together a compilation. You didn't like number three? I thought number three was pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I liked the other ones as well. Not the very, very new ones, but what's the one with where they had the child? I forget the. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was okay. Wait, AI. I don't know which one this is. Yeah, those are the new ones. I don't like the new ones either. No, I thought those are pretty bad. Yeah. Ah, he's such a good voice actor as well. His voice is so good. That's what I was bringing up. I think that one's also good as well. All right. Yeah. Um, okay. So we're gonna keep it at an hour again. So I hate to butt in and bring that in, but we got about 21 minutes. So Manic, I want to hear a little bit more from you. A little bit more. Uh, what are your thoughts about whatever? And it doesn't necessarily have to be on our topic, but just whatever. Oh, you guys are a boyfriend and girlfriend now. Nice. Okay. I haven't heard it. What did you say it's called? Omen? Yeah, I've never even heard of that. Ah, okay. Oh, wow. Hmm. Poltergeist is good too. I don't know if you know Poltergeist. You didn't really care for that one? Hmm. But anyway, you were talking to her about the Omen. She didn't really know about it or care about it too much. And then what? Oh, okay. So, okay, if you don't like horror movies, what is your favorite type of movie? So, psychological thriller, maybe? That's what I like, is psychological thrillers. Right. Hmm. Right. Oh, Evil Dead is classic. I haven't seen that one. I remember seeing, yeah, I remember seeing news about it, but I haven't seen it. What about Constantine? Do you like something like that with Keanu Reeves? Yes, me as well. I think Constantine's a great movie, and it's not too gory. It's kind of has psychological thriller elements to it, and it's not too much. It's a very enjoyable movie. I think it's something that meets all of our expectations. I feel like all three of us anyway. So so I haven't seen John Wick. Hmm. I would have to say that the Reloaded for me is probably my favorite. I really like Revolutions as well. Um, what is the third one? I forget. It's not Revelations. It's what is it? Maybe it is Revolutions. I have it. I forget what it's called, but that one was pretty. It was not that great, but mm, yeah. Well, I think it's quite enjoyable. It was a continue. It was continuity of the story, though. It was continuity of the story. It was coming full circle. So I think that, but I can understand. You didn't. I thought they were pretty cool. I thought they were okay, but they were exiles. They were exile programs that went into hiding so they wouldn't be deleted. That's why when they were on the freeway and they were trying to get to the anomalies, Morpheus and Trinity, like the twins, they recognized the agent and they both shot. Morpheus and the twins both shot at the agent that were trying to get to them. So it's like they set aside their differences for a minute to fight off the agents. But yeah, very interesting story, and we very well could live in a matrix. That's another topic we might cover: simulation theory. So, what if our dreams we are in the real world, and our real life is the matrix? Right. And oh, neat. So, astral projection, are you into that as well? You don't think so? Well, there's a lot of anecdotal stories, but you have to just take them with a grain of salt because how much can you really trust someone? You know what I mean? Okay, well, let me ask you this. What do you see as the difference between a lucid dream and controlling it versus astral projection? What's the difference to you? Yes, that is correct. Well, how do you know you're not leaving? Well, many would say when you do dream, the scenarios that you are in are indeed in a different place other than your mind. They are outside of your mind, but it's your ethereal body that visits these places. So that's a little food for thought. Well, what if we do have it? You know, it's lost. It's lost. Yes. And if we weren't meant to have it because of the way that it's been used. If we look at Atlantis and the way that they used the, well, I mean, Atlantis is not objectively proven, but there are myths of it. You're okay. You're fine. Tarot cards, all those things. I understand where you're coming from. Hmm. Yes. I think that our world right now is in a very fragile state, and to be honest, I kind of feel like it's the beginning of the end. Maybe people felt like this back in, decades ago in the 80s with the Cold War, but it's a very pressing time right now. Wouldn't you all agree? It's a very horrible time. So I don't know if this is too much, and I won't ask your guys' opinion, but I'll tell you. I will be voting for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016, and I'll be voting for him this year in 2024. I don't necessarily agree with all of Donald Trump's political agendas. There's a lot that I don't agree with, but I'm a liberal, so I kind of take what I like and discard the rest. Some people would say you can't do that, but I never have heard of that. Did he? Wow. Yeah, I don't agree with that either. That's a little bit much. Sure. What about Ben Shapiro? Are you a fan of Ben Shapiro? He's a very good speaker, though. You got to give him that. He's quick to the draw. Oh, okay. So, okay, so let me follow with this. Do you know what a plutocracy is? Well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but essentially, media is owned by different outlets. But media is also dictated. Those messages are framed in a certain rhetoric. Um, it's in a way to appeal to different demographics, a way to get them to support, to do different things. We are manipulated every single day of our life. Media, I mean, we're manipulated by that. And when you look at it at the very state of things, we're looking at a two-dimensional screen, watching something, or we're using a controller and looking at a screen, and we are being influenced to have a certain message in our mind that we, at the end of the day, probably wouldn't believe on our own, but we're influenced to believe something. But anyways, plutocracy, it's also tied with oligarchy. Um, but media is controlled. It's controlled by different outlets, and there's certain messages by certain behind the scenes type of stakeholders that have something they want to drive home. But anyways, guys, we got about 7 minutes. Do you guys want to throw in a couple of other points, both of you, and I'm gonna listen. So I'm gonna grab a beer too. So all right, I'll be right back. No, he's not. Wow. So do you like late night show stuff? I don't know, is he a late night show? I remember watching like Jay Leno. What's his name? Not Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, I don't really care for him too much, but ah, what's his name? Jimmy Carson or Johnny Carson? Right. Our time is the people you're talking about, but it began with what's his name? Carson. Right. Guys, you have not been coming through the entire fucking podcast here. Yeah. Oh no is right. I'm looking at the desktop audio meter here, and it's just been me talking to myself. I don't know why.
Well, I know what we're doing next Friday.
Well, hell.
Oh, there you are. I can see you reading now.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
just funny.
now. At the
Jesus.
very end.
I'll have to watch it back, but I don't know. It could have just been you guys, maybe when you weren't talking, it wasn't reading. I don't know. I had it on default. I'll have to look at, let me actually look at it real quick. I have it saved on my computer. Let me look. I sure hope not. I'm sorry, guys, if that's the case. I haven't been on this computer for almost a month. So I had to, like,
Hey.
download all kinds of updates and everything.
Accidents happen, my dude. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
If we just
Yeah.
it sucks.
that just
It
means we
happens.
get to have this great conversation next time.
Yeah, it sounds
Right.
good to me, but I'm gonna look at it before, let's see.
Oh, goody.
Yeah.
The last Dragon Age game finished downloading.
Nice.
Hey.
Let's see. OBS recording. Okay, here it is. Let me see.
While y'all looking at all that stuff, I'm gonna keep asking y'all questions. Have y'all ever played the Dragon Age games?
I have not. Doesn't look
No.
like this is, I can get it to play right now either. Jesus. I sure hope that you guys. I think what it is, because it was on default audio, I think it's just because you guys weren't talking, and that's why the audio wasn't rolling up. Because it's not gonna show my audio. Or when I speak, it's gonna come through the microphone. Does that make sense? It's only your guys' audio that's
Yeah.
gonna come through the desktop. So I think it's just when you guys
Yeah.
weren't talking.
Okay.
I think it's all
Okay,
good.
well.
I really do think so. It was on default, but I think it was coming through. But
Okay.
Dragon Age,
Okay.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
Dragon Age Origins is probably the best in this series for an old school RPG. It's made by BioWare when BioWare was actually good.
Okay.
Dragon Age Inquisition's pretty fun. It's set in the same type of gameplay like the first one, but more modern systems. And the second game is much more narrow in its scope because it's telling a specific story. But I love the Dragon Age series. I love its world.
And they're on
It's-
sale right now.
Yes.
Ah, cool. I'll have to check
I'm
it
able-
out.
I was able to get all 3 games for like less than $15.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
got a-
getting all the DLC.
Yeah, they got a lot of sales going on right now for spring break or whatever. I got Need for Speed Heat on PC for like $3.50. So
Nice.
Yeah, great game.
yes,
The
very
only
good.
Need for
game.
Speed I liked was Underground.
Oh, I'm a huge Need for Speed fan. Also a car fan. I often will
Look,
plug
you
up
know-
a steering wheel and pedals, and I'm really into the
okay.
car stuff. So
You know I'm a Need for Speed fan.
yes, I do know that as well. You haven't played it for a while, Manic, but I do remember
Well, it has been a while.
it
but
has.
Yes.
But yes, I do know that you like.
Wow.
Yeah, you like racing games as well. That is true. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half, so we're gonna have to wrap it up. I'm gonna do another hour. I think I'm gonna play some Matrix,
Oh,
but
okay.
what I'll do is upload this, and I sure freaking hope that the audio is going. But I think, like I said, what it was, because I was thinking for some reason that my voice should be coming through desktop audio, but it wouldn't be. It comes through the microphone reading through the microphone. So I think it's just that you guys weren't talking, and that's why there wasn't any audio. So that's why I wasn't seeing audio. Does that make sense? But when you guys talk, I
Yeah.
can see it come through. So, but it was on default, and that should be good to go. But oh, geez, I sure hope so. I'll let you guys promptly know as well.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. I think it should have been because it was on default. But
Yeah. I mean, it should be.
it should. But as soon as I'm done here, I'll update you guys and I'll let you know because I'll upload
Okay.
it to YouTube. So,
All right.
all right, guys. Well, we got about 20 seconds, so I'll say farewell for those who have been here or who listen later. We have Nicrowassassin, ManicProfessor, and Kai Unity Kai with the Fringe Lair podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Caca, sweet peaches. Have a good night.
All right, guys. I'll chat with you later. I'll update you after the stream. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. Take care. I'll
Right
talk
on.
with you later.
See ya.
All right.